What's up guys, and welcome back to the Blue Side FC channel. I'm Nia Martin. I hope you are doing great, and welcome back to another episode of Chelsea at the World Cup. This is a series that I started purposely for the World Cup to take a look at Chelsea players and their performances for their respective teams in the World Cup. So far, a couple of Chelsea players have been eliminated and a couple of Chelsea players are still in it. We're going to talk about the quarterfinals, where I think 6 Chelsea players featured. It's only left with only 2 Chelsea players in the World Cup. So we're going to talk about that and see how each of the 6 performances were in the quarterfinals, and see whether those who qualified, the 2 that qualified, have any hope of going to the finals as well. So let's get straight into it. The first game I'm going to talk about is the Croatia versus Brazil game. This game, I think the favorites were Brazil because of how they performed the World Cup. A lot of people were like they're going to win this game, but Croatia had different plans. Croatia is such a solid squad. They never give up, and yeah, they were resilient the whole time in this game. Even when Neymar scored in the extra time, they never gave up. They were solid. They got back a goal, and they were able to beat Brazil on penalties. They eliminated Brazil. The 2 Chelsea players that featured, Thiago Silva and Kovacic, brilliant in the whole game. They were very, very good. Kovacic especially was fantastic in the game, in the middle. Like, next to Modric, how can you not be fantastic? Next to players like Modric and Brozovic, how can you not be fantastic? And he's also a very, very good player next to those players, so it just lifts his game up. And the types of tackles and challenges that he was making in the game, they were splendid. Like and Thiago Silva too, very, very good in the entire game, very, very good. I don't know, if you gave me an option of who to choose to win this World Cup amongst all the Chelsea players that went, he's probably the one I was going to pick. First. He's one of those players that are playing their last World Cup, and I was hoping that he lifted it for the Brazilian national team, but unfortunately that wasn't meant to be, and he knows that's going to happen now. So yeah, so Thiago Silva was eliminated. Thiago Silva and Brazil were eliminated, but Kovacic goes through to the semi-finals, and I wish him all the best against Argentina. So then we move to the next game, which was the next game with Chelsea player, where a Chelsea player was involved, which was the Morocco versus Portugal game. Fantastic game, fantastic performance from Morocco, fantastic performance from Ziyech, fantastic performance from their goalkeeper Bono, and yeah, and the guy who scored a goal to the player who scored a goal to Ziri, fantastic goal that he scored as well. Like everything about that game was just good from the perspective of Morocco. They knew their plan, they executed it. They scored the goal very early on, and they defended throughout. And they frustrated the Portuguese team. They really frustrated the Portuguese team. You could see that the Portuguese team were trying to come back into the game, especially in the dying 10 minutes of the game. They were trying, but it couldn't happen. It really couldn't happen. It wasn't their day. It wasn't their World Cup. So unfortunately, Ronaldo's chance at winning the World Cup is gone. He cried a lot on the pitch. And if I him, I also cry because he has won everything in football apart from the World Cup. He just needed that World Cup. He just wanted that World Cup trophy to finish his collection, but it wasn't meant to be. This is going to be his last World Cup. I think Messi too. Messi 35, so this is also going to be Messi's last World Cup too as well. So the 2 of them are very, very, very eager to win this World Cup. They really, really want to win this World Cup. They are determined to win this World Cup, and unfortunately, Ronaldo's hopes have come to an end, have been dashed, and Morocco qualifies and enters the semi-finals. They are now the first African team to qualify into the semi-finals. Again, Ghana came close, but we couldn't take our chances. We couldn't do it. Cameroon has come close before. Senegal has come close before, but Morocco got the job done, and they got the job done well. They have the best defense in the World Cup, in my opinion, and they've been able to. I think they've conceded just 1 goal in this entire World Cup, which is insane, which is crazy. And yeah, they did it very, very beautifully, and they've been fantastic so far. So I wish them the best, and I really, really hope that they become the first African country to also win the get to the finals and win the World Cup too as well. I know it's a big ask. I know it's a big dream to have, but this World Cup is a World Cup of dreams, World Cup of possibilities, to World Cup of unexpected outcomes. So I'm just hoping that they are able to go all the way and win the World Cup and bring it home to Africa. It's coming home to Africa. So then we move on to the next game. The most anticipated one was France versus England. This game didn't disappoint. It really didn't disappoint. Like it was very, very intense. It was a very, very intense game. And I think the French team approached the game in a very, very different manner, like they do in the other games. The other games, they are often on the front foot, they are often taking control, but this one, I think they allowed England to play more, and they operated on the counter. It looked like they were operating on the counter. They were allowing England to play more, so it looked like England were dominating. And yes, they were dominating. I think they played the better football, but when it came to when it came to the goals, France were more clinical. They were able to finish their chances. Chouameni, that goal he scored, fantastic, like a long range shot, fantastic shot from him. I didn't even think he was going to take it, and he took it, and he scored. And then England came back. They got a penalty, and then Kane took it, scored that one very, very well. And then Giroud keeps extending his lead over Thierry Henry as the highest top scorer for France. And I know that that title is eventually going to be taken over by Mbappe, but Giroud is making it very, very difficult. He's making it very difficult, so that when he's planning on taking it, or when Mbappe is planning on taking that title, it takes a long time to get there because he's extending the lead. And I'm just happy for Giroud, very, very happy for Giroud. There was a nice moment at the end where he came over to comfort Mount. That was very, very nice, very, very nice moment. England had a chance to make it level and push the game into extra time, but they couldn't do it. They really couldn't do it. Mount came on very late in the game. I think came on in the 80th minute or 80 something minute, and then seconds after he came on, he was able to win a penalty. That was fantastic. Like when he came on, you could just see that he really impacted the game, but the people around him they weren't really helping him. I think some of the changes that Southgate made was they were very, very questionable. Like some of the changes he made were very, very questionable. Like why wouldn't you bring Maddison in this game? Why wouldn't you bring Rashford earlier on this game? Brought him very, very late. You took Maddison to the World Cup. You didn't even use him in this entire World Cup. Now what's the use of taking a quality midfielder like Maddison, an attacking midfielder like Maddison to the World Cup? It just didn't make sense. The Mount won the penalty and Kane skyrocketed it. He just booted it into the sky. I'm very sure if you had a telescope, you probably see it still orbiting. Still floating in the sky. It hasn't yet come down. I don't think they approached the game well, in my opinion. They should have buried some of the chances that they had. They didn't bury it, and yeah, so they are going home. But that means unfortunately 3 Chelsea players are going home. Just Sterling came on for, I think, Foden. He didn't really impact. He didn't really add much to the game. Foden wasn't really adding much to the game, and he brought on Sterling. I would have brought on Rashford instead. Balaga hasn't played 1 minute in this game. He hasn't in this World Cup. I don't think he had any minutes in this World Cup, and it's unfortunate that Southgate took certain players and he didn't even give them even just 1 minute. Even in games that they were winning, I thought he would be using certain players or giving certain players some time at least to feature in the World Cup, because he called them to the World Cup. They didn't come to the World Cup to come and sit on the bench. They came to the World Cup to actually participate. So that leaves us with only 2 Chelsea players in the World Cup in the semi-finals, and that is Kovacic and Ziyech. These 2 players. Who would have thought? Like if out of all the 12 players that went to the World Cup, I don't think people would have pointed Ziyech or Kovacic to still be in a tournament at this time. I don't think so. Especially Ziyech. Nobody would have said, "Oh, Ziyech is going to make it all the way to the semi-finals." No, nobody would have said it. Me personally, I would have chosen Thiago Silva as going all the way to the finals. This World Cup has gone against most people's predictions. So Morocco will be facing France, and then Croatia will be playing Argentina. And now let's come to the Argentina Netherlands game. This game annoyed me a lot. It really, really did annoy me. It annoyed me in the way it was officiated. The way it was officiated, you could see that it was officiated in such a way that they wanted Argentina to win. And yeah, Messi got a yellow card. He should have actually got a red card in the end. He handled the ball and he didn't even get a yellow card. He didn't even get a yellow card. And in the end, he was rather complaining about how the referee was officiating the game when Argentina were getting away with so many things. Like, I think, was it Martinez or Fernandez, one of those players, kicked the ball straight into the Netherlands bench area. That was just insane. That should have been a red card offense. It didn't even happen. Even the penalty, in my opinion, was never a penalty. He was already going down before the player clipped him. He was already going down, but since there was contact, they gave it as a penalty. And the referee didn't even go and check to see whether that penalty was valid or not. I agree with some of the Portuguese players when they're saying that Pepe said it and Bruno Fernandes also said it, that they want Messi to win, they want Argentina to win. I agree with them 100%. That's why I'm hoping that Croatia knocks them out of the World Cup. I'm hoping that Croatia knocks Argentina out of the World Cup, because if it wasn't for the fact that it was so obvious that they wanted Argentina to win, like, it would have been cool. I wouldn't really mind if they eventually win it, but the way the Netherlands game went about, like, it was very, very bad. And there were there were some offenses that the referee was calling that was against the Netherlands squad, and it was just baffling. It was really, really, really baffling. So, but yeah, Argentina were able to win on penalties. You can't really do anything when it comes to penalties, because the Netherlands came in, they scored an equalizer. They were able to take it into penalties, but the Netherlands weren't able to put it away. I think starting with Van Dijk was a big mistake. He missed, he brought the morale down, and then it just crumbled from there. So Croatia will be facing Argentina in the semi-finals, and then Morocco will be facing France in the semi-finals. So interesting semi-finals coming up. 12 Chelsea players entered, 2 Chelsea players left. So that's been it for this quarterfinals roundup or recap. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for all your support on this channel. What do you think about the semi-finals? Do you have any predictions? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Give the video a like if you've watched this far and you enjoyed my content. Thank you so much for all the support you continue to give me on this channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, stay safe.